Hey everyone, Joe at Headshot Props here. Just touching base. We want to do a run through of parts on the Shoretrooper and Tanktrooper kits that are shipping currently. So starting out, obviously the chest plate. We did a lot of trimming that we normally don't do on kits here. We know it took a little bit longer, so we're trying to make it as easy as possible. But so you got your chest. Chuck these away as we go. You got your back plate. We'll cover the greeblies that go into the back plate when we're done. Next up is our ab section. So on the ab section, I'll just show you, you have the ability to cut the contours out on the lower belt support. It's up to you. Not going to affect anything. It's covered by your belt. But I'm going to show you one a little bit later that I did that on. Show you the extra detail that you do get if you go that route. Next up is our kidney section in the back. Obviously, when you get this, it's going to look a little weird. You're going to connect to your front ab section. Once it's built, don't do what some people make a mistake. They'll cut this section out here. Easier to build it together, then do a cut. Okay?
All right, so you don't cut this middle section out.
Don't cut this out until you assemble.
Okay.
When you assemble your ab and your kidney, you do it the other way, but it's just easier. You got two connections versus trying to line up a separate piece and a separate piece.
Okay.
So leave this intact. My suggestion, attach it to your front, however you're going to do that, and then cut your back so it opens. And when you put this kit on, you're going to open it up to put it around you. All right.
We're going to do a tutorial how to build these things, so I'll end up going through that when I get to it.
So next up is your biceps. You got your outer biceps, and you got your inner biceps.
The outer ones have this stripe on it. It's hard
So
to see.
You got this notch in here, which you probably want to cut out if you're going to go and attach it with the strap the way they did. Or you can leave it. A lot of people just leave it and kind of weather around that. So that's up to you when you build.
These are the inners, right?
So you got your inner biceps too.
Okay.
All right. Next up, you got shins. You got left and right shin parts. Same thing. So you got left and a right. They're going to go together. A little bit of trimming. So we did trim them back. You're going to have to straight edge them for your connections. Put your strip in the back for reinforcement. I always build inside out. Some people I know try and just put them together and put that finished strip on there. I prefer to do it the other way. Ideally, you want a little strength in there anyway. So get your inside strips, put them together, and go from there. All right, so we got shins. Moving on to shoulder bells. Nice and simple, shoulder bells. Some people trim these down a little bit so they fit you better. Don't get in the way. Pretty easy contour line there that you're going to do, and a little bit of shaping around out the edges. Doesn't get much more simple than that one. Your back plate. Trim lines are pretty clean. Leave a return there as much as you want. And the top, you leave a little bit more just because it's the most visible part. And you'll kind of see there's a depth up there for you to keep intact. So it's trimmed pretty close to where you're going to want to keep that anyway. The rest you can be a little thinner on. But that's your back plate that covers that seam I showed you on the kidney section. We'll jump over to arms, the lower forearms. So some people are going to get the inners, and they're going to get outers that have what people are used to with the recesses in place. Some people are going to get a different version that has a resin piece that goes on top. You're going to take this, assemble your arm. You're going to epoxy the strip in place, and real simple, just a Bondo or a spot filler line down each side. And ultimately, I wish these weren't taped together, but we'll show you in the build video too. You'll have a super crisp, super detail, as good as a 3D print, but way better than you're going to get out of back form. So we started off one way, and we got some good pulls, but we got a lot of pulls I wasn't happy with. So we took it an extreme route and made you a resin part to go on top. So you get a really nice forearm out of it. So we'll keep cruising through. We'll jump into your shins for your outer shin plates. So we have two sizes that go with the kit. Again, we'll show you in the build. But one is a little different in the sense that it has parts that go up here, and the shin itself is intended to be shorter, and then your components go on it. Again, we'll cover that more in detail in build. We're not really set up for that. But so you got two shins that come with your kit. Again, some people might get two tall ones in the earlier kits. not a big deal. You just trim off the top. But the big difference really is when you put on the other parts that go in here, you don't need this. You don't see that. So, you know, but again, on the tutorial, we'll cover that. Finish strips for forearms, biceps. We actually didn't pull out the finish strips for the shins. You know, but if they're needed for the kit, they're in there too. Hand plates are cast, so you got good crisp detail. Feels like you got something on your hand. I prefer cast so that you know, you kind of feel them there. So, you know, trooping, I've lost the plastic vac form ones, didn't even notice.
This is getting blown out by the light. I'm trying to get an angle there.
These have a little bit of depth to them. They have their recess in the front, like it should have. So that's your hand plates. Put them back in the bag. We'll move into some shin components. You know what? Let's do chest components. So you have chest. You got 2 buckles. You got 2 straps. The way our straps work is they're independent. They don't have a wedge or a buckle attached. So your wedge gets glued to the back. So it gives you a decent return there. Again, vac forming, you lose some of that crispness in those lines. So we've made a lot of parts in this kit that are resin. Costs more. It does weigh a bit more, but you're getting a good quality kit with great lines. You know, and vac forming is one thing, but your great detail really comes with resin parts and crispness. So you got 2 buckles that go on the front, your strap, you know, something like that, and then your wedge would be on the back plate, and that's your shoulder straps there. All right, so we'll move these out of the way. Keep on going. Thermal detonator. So you got a thermal detonator. It's nice and easy. It's one piece. Your details there. It does require some cleanup in here. You know, there could be varying thicknesses in there, so you might have to Dremel with your sand drum or whatever to get rid of that. I usually cut them out and then go in and just clean up enough that the cap goes in. So you got resin caps, simple thermal detonator piece, good detail. There's a seam line back here, usually very minimal, but the seam line was done in the groove, so it didn't affect your outers. So you got that, you got your 2 parts, and you got your attaching point. And that goes to your belt.
Maybe you turn it for me.
Goes into your belt, goes right into your piece. You can see 2 holes there.
Okay.
You drill your holes.
If the white's getting blown out a little bit, but yeah.
Well, that's fine.
The details there.
Again, we're doing tutorials for all of your parts, all your pieces, so you'll see all that come together too. We are missing a knee. Okay. Well, anyway, so we've got 1 knee. Hey, power outage.
And our power went out because there's a thunderstorm. But you know what? You can still actually see. So we're just going to go and keep going.
I can't tell, so if Chad says we're good, we'll keep going and wrap
this part up. It's kind of dark, but I'll try and lighten it up in post.
Again, these are vac formed, but we got good shape and return to them. Okay. If you can, you leave a little return edge on there. I know most guys take it right down to the edge anyway. Again, once it's on your knee, you know, you got a good piece there. So we'll jump to what we kind of skipped earlier.
Here,
so we showed
here
you
where there's more light.
Okay, this is going to be hard because this thing's black. I don't know. So anyway, so we'll show you the parts that go into your. Oh, actually, I'm going out of order there. All right, so this is your back plate. So you have your 2 large boxes that get glued into the back. You cut out your section. Hey, light. There we go.
Back. Okay.
So you got 2 large inserts. You have your smaller inserts, and then you have your lower box. So that's your back plate. All of your resin parts, nice and crisp, clean. Obviously, you know, all of these resin parts have some things that might need to be cleaned up, sanded, a little bit of excess resin that gets trimmed. These are build-it-yourself kits. You know, we do offer completely built kits. So if, you know, you didn't want to do that, that would be the other route, but obviously these are do-it-yourselfers. So a little bit of cleanup, but again, you know, a lot of resin parts that you got to do a little bit too, but you're going to get great results out of it, and that's kind of what's more important to us here. So jump into shins for a minute. So we got smaller belts. They are resin. They're pretty flexible. Don't go crazy. But you know, I mean, I've had all kinds, but they're pretty good. So you got a large and a small, or a wide and a thin, and then your kit comes with 2 buckles, 1 for each leg. 2 ski buckles, 1 for each leg. Obviously that goes to your thinner one, that goes to your larger. This is your detail for your left shin, which is another part of the short shin assembly, but we'll show you that in the build. And then you get 2 of these. So these are actually pretty cool part, and again we'll show you. But you know what it does essentially is goes on. It's not trimmed, so we can't do that. But it basically goes on so it looks like your belt is running through your buckle. So what you do is you take that and you put a piece of plastic behind it, you attach the 2, and it gives you that appearance that it's really going through there when it's not. But pretty easy snap-on or slide-on assembly when you clean off our fill holes there. All right, so that's your legs. We'll jump on to difference in helmets between Shore and Tank. So your Shore helmet visor is actually 2 parts. We separated them to keep the recess and the detail between it. Obviously, when we do a 1 part, we lose some of that return in there. I don't know if you can see it, but so we have done it where it's 2 parts. You just have to kind of line them up, and there's an indent in here from where we separated them, which we chose to leave because it kind of gives you a good idea of where everything goes. But eventually, you just a little bit of epoxy, glue them together. You're good to go there. So that's your shield for your Shoretrooper, and then your 2 small greeblies, and your nose, your snout piece, whatever you want to call it. So again, what I was saying about resin cleanup. So these are poured. Yeah, you get a little bit of excess on there.
You show the front of it first.
A lot of it can snap off, pliers or needle nose or whatever, and then just a little bit of cleanup. So that's your piece for that. So that's your difference there. And then if you're talking tanker, so your tanker, anybody who's seen one, held one, they're hefty no matter what. This one actually comes in 1 piece. Again, what we were talking about, a little bit of cleanup along the bottom, a little bit back there, but this is a little bit easier in a sense of 1 piece. It goes on there. And the reason I did that really was because we still had the ability to keep a pretty good return there. So it looks good, looks accurate, nice detail, but it wasn't as important or wasn't as open. So we did that for tanker. And then your final greebly parts. Again, you've got your left and your right greebly, and then you got your center. So it gives you them. And again, a little bit of resin. A lot of times it'll just snap off. Careful, it's sharp, oddly enough. But that's that. So that's your tanker. Last thing I wanted to show you was just to go back to, unfortunately I buried the 1 part. And we lost 1 part. Oh no. All right, so anyway, so we're going back to the kidney for a section, because if you saw our kidney, it looked, plain, basic, a lot of stuff missing. Again, you can leave this, leave all those contours if you choose to. I like that the scalloping is there. So I know most makers kind of eliminate that and just put a straight piece there, but I wanted it.
Point out the resin pieces.
I wanted it for mine to be that way, so we did it, that way for everybody, so you got a nice detail. As far as the blank, so you had a blank one we just showed you. This is all the details, okay? So you have a centerpiece, which is this main box, and this strip. That goes on first, and you have a blank flat piece, and you have your raised section. Those are separate pieces too, which again keeps super crisp detail on everything.
They're right over here.
Right, so we can go back to them.
Yeah,
okay, that's
we'll actually show them.
So anyway,
they're laying right here.
we'll show both parts of it. So anyway, so this is the center, and again, so you're either going to get one that's completely filled in here, and you do have to cut on these lines down here and across there.
Oh, it's getting blown out. Let me. There we go.
So some of them are filled in. You're going to have to do some trim, and again, it would be a cut line here and straight up. Again, showing you in the tutorial, we'll try and find one of them. But that's your centerpiece on here, your main box. Okay, your flat piece. Again, here goes in here. This guy just sits in there and inserts. I tend to use 1 minute rapid cure epoxy, 2-part, just because of time. When I'm building, I want to build and move on. I don't want to wait for E6000 on small parts to cure. So that's my recommendation, but you obviously can build as you want. We got this part, which is actually this. You'll get in your kit. Again, this one was poured a little high. We use lightener in some parts as much as possible, but they do tend to expand a little bit. So you just belt sand down. You can actually see the line it's supposed to be. Easy enough. Dremel,
a little bit.
Dremel, belt sand, whatever. So that's that part. This guy is this part. Again, you line it up. It's pretty simple because you have your raised sections. So you're just going to put it in the middle, line it up. I have long clamps with grab, so I put some 1-minute epoxy behind it. I rough up the surfaces, put it in there, clamp it. It's good in 5 minutes. You're moving on to your next part. And then your last piece, which is not on here because it fell off. I didn't attach it yet, but that's it. And you'll see it's a little wider at the bottom, narrower at the top. Obviously, you have a little bit more height there. So this one goes on there. A little bit of cleanup required in here to make it fit, but that's because obviously you get some distortion when you cast and other things. But very minimal, and it just drops in there. You glue that baby in there, and obviously you can see super nice lines, details, pieces, and parts. All right, so that's that. So that's all those pieces. That's pretty much the kit. I think we may have forgotten something. Well, we forgot a knee. We definitely didn't have the second knee, but
yeah.
But it comes in the kit and everything's there. And again, every version will have a tutorial. Chad's going to do a Shoretrooper. I'm going to do an R1 TK. We got somebody, where's Gene live? Gene's doing a tutorial for, he's like in Idaho or Utah or something, I don't know. But
I can't remember.
He's doing a tutorial for the tanker. And
yeah, the Shore and the Tanker are pretty much the same build, except for obviously the helmet and the belt. That's another thing. The belt wasn't here. Yeah, you're also going to get a belt. And I forgot. Yeah, we have.
So we do have. So this is the squad leader belt. It's what comes with the kit. So obviously it's not all in the right places, but you'll get all your parts and your components that go to it.
Okay, it's a nice detail on that buckle there.
Again, you know, a little weighty, but not real heavy. But you wear an armor, you want things to feel like they're something, rather than a bunch of light plastic with soft details. So, you know, but that's going to be in the kits too. And that, again, that's the squad leader setup. We do have other parts, components that are available as an add-on package if you're changing out some stuff.
And then I'll shoot a separate video of just the tank belt alone, because that's a little different. But I think that's it. I mean, we didn't show each of the helmets, but you guys, if you bought one, you know what it looks like. It's just we don't have two on hand at the moment. But yeah, I think that's it. Any questions, let us know. If you have a piece that's missing, obviously let us know. We'll get it to you right away. You can contact me or Joe. And I guess that's it. So we will start shooting segmented tutorial videos. And
one thing. So just a reminder, in case you don't know right now, we have build groups set up for every costume. Perfect situation because our kits are different than everybody's. You know, some of the pieces are the same. Some things have been done a little different. So if you're asking questions in general forums and things, if you don't have the kit, they can't answer you correctly. They're going to guess, speculate, or tell you what they did on theirs. Easier to do it with us while we're building, because unfortunately we did not get to build the kits out completely before they shipped. We've built some parts, components. Obviously we have an ab section, some other things we wanted to make sure and be able to show you. But you know, questions and concerns and things, you know, much easier. Message me, message Chad, or go to that page. You know, that's why we created it. We want the people that are building to build together. I know we have experienced builders. I also know we have first-time builders who've never built any kind of armor. So we're kind of counting on you guys to support those people too. So much easier in one spot. Again, they're out there. I think we even created one for mud, which we'll also be doing a tutorial on.
Yeah, they're called Headshot Props, Tanktrooper Building Group, you know, Inferno Squad Building Group, Shoretrooper Building Group, but they all start with Headshot Props. Right. So and they're all relatively kind of look the same.
So we'll add them, and we're gonna again do a mud tutorial, some other things. There's some upgrades being done to Inferno. So those changes will be coming too. We'll start showing you that.
Actually, I'll put the links up in this video. I'll put the links below.
So that'll be good. And you know, things are moving out the door. So we appreciate everybody's support, patience. It's been a bumpy road here, but we got some nice stuff coming out to you. So keep in touch, show us pictures, ask questions, let us know what's happening. And if you haven't gotten them yet, they're coming. They're en route.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.